Have you ever stood at the edge of a great precipice and felt not just fear, but a strange invitation, that mysterious pull toward the depths? What is it, if not your own nature, recognizing what you so desperately need? The modern soul flees from itself with such ingenious determination, through the narcotic of constant distraction, through the religion of perpetual comfort, through the marketplace of endless desire. Yet the shadow grows longer with each step of your retreat. How many external solutions have you tried? The new city, the new relationship, the new career, each promising liberation, each delivering the same imprisonment in slightly altered form. Is it not time to question whether freedom can ever be found along these well-worn paths of avoidance? What if the darkness you flee contains not your destruction, but your salvation? What if that which terrifies you most holds the very key to your cage? The spirit of gravity pulls downward, yet how stubbornly you resist this necessary descent. Consider the seed that requires the darkness of soil to transform. Consider the butterfly that must dissolve its former self within the chrysalis. Consider the pearl that needs the wound, the intrusion, the irritation. Your suffering is not meaningless. Your discomfort is not purposeless. The weight you feel pulling you toward confrontation with yourself is not your enemy. It is the gravitational force of your own potential calling you home. But you cling to the surface. You mistake movement for progress. You confuse relief for transformation. Have you not yet learned that every path outward eventually circles back to the same questions, the same wounds, the same unresolved territories within yourself? Rather than face the abyss within, I shall busy myself with 1,000 distractions. Is this not the unspoken creed of modern existence? The last men blink and say, "We have invented happiness." They have their little pleasures for the day and their little pleasures for the night. They fear the depths and worship comfort, never suspecting how their pursuit of ease has made them ill. What courage have you sacrificed at the altar of convenience? What wisdom have you forfeited at the shrine of positivity? What strength remains unearthed because you refuse to dig beneath the surface of your consciousness? The path of comfort leads to a life half-lived, a shadow existence where potential remains dormant and authenticity becomes impossible. Is this the epitaph you desire? Here lies one who was so afraid of the dark that they never found their light. Imagine a demon creeping into your chamber during your loneliest hour, whispering, "This life, as you have lived it so far, you must live again, innumerable times more. Nothing new, every pain, every pleasure, every pattern repeated endlessly." Would this be a curse or a blessing? Would the thought of your avoidance patterns recurring eternally fill you with dread? The wound you refuse to examine festers eternally. The question you refuse to ask echoes unanswered through eternity. The truth you refuse to face returns as fate, again and again. How many times have you circled the same mountain, believing you are making progress? How many relationships have replicated the same dynamics? How many escapes have led you back to the same prison? The eternal return becomes liberation only when you have descended into your depths and transformed what you find there. Otherwise, it remains the hell of unconscious repetition. The will to superficiality is exhausted Can you not feel it? The energy required to maintain your elaborate system of avoidance grows greater with each passing day. The walls you've built against yourself require constant reinforcement, constant vigilance. What freedom might await if you redirected this tremendous energy toward the courage of dissent rather than the cowardice of evasion? The will to power does not mean dominance over others. It means mastery over oneself, the courage to stand before one's own nature without flinching, to descend into chaos and extract order, to face formlessness and impose form. Every true artist knows this. Creation begins with chaos. Every great philosopher understands this. Wisdom emerges from doubt. Every genuine transformation requires disintegration before reintegration. Yet you expect revelation without darkness, strength without struggle, rebirth without death. What absurd mathematics governs your expectations? You aspire to the heights while ignoring the depths. But have you not noticed that the tallest mountains plunge deepest into the earth? That the most towering trees extend their roots farthest into darkness? This is the paradox you must comprehend. The heights require the depths. The light requires the shadow. The dance requires the dancer to embrace both ascent and descent. What terrors await you in the cellars of your consciousness that you scurry so desperately away from them? What monsters guard the treasures of your authentic becoming? The abyss gazes also into you, but this gaze is not meant to paralyze. It is meant to awaken, to provoke, to summon forth the courage that lies dormant within you. The great noontide approaches, the moment of decision, of no shadows, of complete clarity. Will you continue the horizontal flight, scurrying across the surface of existence? Or will you embrace the vertical journey, the descent that leads to ascent, the darkness that enables light? The heights require the depths. The light requires the shadow. The fullest expression of your nature requires the integration of all you have disowned within yourself. What you most fear contains what you most need. Your wounds, when properly tended, become sources of wisdom. Your darkest impulses, when consciously integrated, fuel your most meaningful contributions. The abyss is not your enemy. It is the womb of your rebirth. The darkness is not your adversary. It is the soil in which your greatness takes root. That which has been severed yearns for reunion. That which has been fragmented seeks wholeness. When you finally turn to face what you have fled, something unexpected occurs. The monsters lose their power to terrify. The shadows reveal their gifts. The weight becomes wings. This is the alchemy of confrontation, the transmutation of fear into freedom, of pain into purpose, of wounds into wisdom. What emerges from this descent is not the elimination of darkness, but its integration. Not the absence of pain, but its transformation into meaning. Not perfect tranquility, but authentic wholeness. You return from the underworld, not as a victim, but as a creator. Not as a fugitive, but as a sovereign. Not as a fragment, but as a universe. The darkness, once faced, becomes not your prison, but your resource. The depth, once plumbed, becomes not your grave, but your foundation. The shadow, once embraced, becomes not your enemy, but your ally. This is the paradoxical promise. By going into what you fear, you find what you seek. By descending into chaos, you discover order. By embracing mortality, you access the eternal. The only way out is in. The decisive moment is now. What will you choose?